Honourable Member for St. James North.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker. This debate, Mr. Speaker, the first comprehensive debate of this parliamentary session, considering that the debate in June last year was mini budget, making an adjustment to that earlier one of the previous government. But this debate has shown the tremendous and significant strength of the Barbados Labour Party parliamentary team. Each and every one of the members so far on the side of the Barbados Labour Party have contributed significantly and have spoken with tremendous acumen, knowledge, depth. I particularly congratulate all the first-time members of this Parliament. They've acquitted themselves extremely well. They've spoken like senior members, sir, and the quality of this debate has been far and above that presented on the side of the last government during these similar debates. I'm proud, sir, to be a member of this team. I, of course, come in to this debate as a second-term member of Parliament, so as far as I feel, sir, I'm a senior member, considering that we have a lot of first-time members, and I am proud to be part of a team with them, sir. I'm also extremely proud to be led by the Honourable Member for St. Michael North East, who has shown, sir, why she is Prime Minister of this country today. She has spent, of course, virtually her whole life preparing for this position, and over the last 10 months she has shown what experience, planning, preparing, knowledge, brilliance and leadership qualities has done to start the transformation of our country over the next few years. In 10 months, sir, this government has achieved more positive effects on the socio-economic culture of this country than the previous government did in 10 years, sir. And the Honourable Prime Minister has led the way throughout, at all levels, sir, whether it is spending sleepless nights, whether it is by her energy, her drive, her ability leading the way, and being a perfect example for all of us, whether those of her cabinet and other parliamentarians. So often we have heard, sir, but ministers, you have to roll up your sleeves and do more. And it's not that she is asking us to do anything that she hasn't done. And I used to say, sir, during the election campaign that the Barbados Labour Party was presenting the best in terms of quality of candidates ever presented on one side in any election in Barbados, sir. And I feel even more justified in saying that, sir. This is the best Parliament that has ever found its way in this, the highest forum of Barbados since adult suffrage, and even before adult suffrage, of course, sir. And, sir, the critics talk about the consultants and the economic team being too big, sir. I agree totally with the last member who spoke, the Honourable Member for St. Michael West Central, sir, and give full credit to the economic team, both within the Cabinet, sir, such as the Honourable Member for Christchurch East Central and the Honourable Member for St. Michael South Central, but those advisors outside the Cabinet as well, sir, who have done all almost the miraculous in reducing the debt of Barbados from over 170 debt to GDP, the third most indebted country in the world, sir, on May 24th, to bringing it down today to about 120%, sir. I'm proud of this team, sir, that has been able to raise the foreign reserves of this country from, as the Honourable Member for St. George South said earlier today, about 200 million US, 400 million Barbados, to now $1.1 billion, sir, through strategic rescheduling and restructuring of the debt, and through sheer willpower in terms of starting the process, sir, getting this economy going again. What we need, sir, is all Barbadians to stay the course with us. Stay the course. There will be critics, sir. We live in a democracy. We are not afraid of the criticism, sir, even though it is from people who are misguided, who effectively destroyed a whole nation in just 10 years, 4 months, sir, had no clue, took the socio-economic aspects of this country into the gutter, sir, where we have taken it out, sir. After 22 successive downgrades, we've started to gain upgrades already again, sir, too. I believe that we have had already, and we will continue, no doubt, to have them, sir. We got this, sir. And all right-thinking Barbadians, sir, have to take credit for this. We will not be deterred, sir, by those miscreants in this society who give problems, as many of the speakers here have referred, sir. We will arrest the issue of conflict, of violence, of guns in this country. I mean, the notion that you can go in Sheraton Centre in broad daylight among hundreds of people, sir, and shoot off guns, sir, is not barbarian. This is not the way we do things, sir. And it calls for all of us joining together. As I've said before, 30 members of Parliament, elected members of Parliament, can't deal with this and can't successfully confront this, sir. But we have full confidence in the security forces of this country that we will overcome, sir. But we need the public's cooperation as well. As I've said many times, sir, that it is better to give the police the information that is required to arrest this trend in Barbados than to see your loved one in a pool of blood, lifeless, when you could have avoided that by giving the necessary information to the police and the other armed forces. I thank the people of St. James North, sir, for my presence here today, as it has been for the last 6 years. People of St. James North have been loyal to the Barbados Labour Party throughout the time when we had universal adult suffrage, sir, except for one occasion, 1986, which was immediately corrected thereafter at the first opportunity. This government, sir, I have no doubt, will reward the people of St. James North by helping us and by ensuring that we are part of the exercise in the growth of this country. It has already started, sir, 2 weeks ago, when on my way home, I passed and I reached Westmoreland, and I saw that road works had started, sir, and I said, thanks to the two ministers of public works, the Honourable Member for Christchurch West and the Honourable Member for St. Philip North, and those two members of Parliament, sir, the Honourable Member for St. Lucy, sir, the Honourable Member for St. Lucy, in fact, assigned for St. James North, because he's assigned to the rural district, sir, and has been extremely helpful every time we call in terms of whatever public works we want. And the next day, I turn right, sir, and I go down Bakers and roadworks down there too, sir. And over the weekend, roadworks in Sion Hill too, sir. And a whole stretch of highway from Westmoreland to Bakers effectively done, sir. Of course, sir, that's only the beginning. We still need some traffic lights at Westmoreland, which the Honourable Minister, Senior Minister for Public Works assures me will be done during the coming financial year. And Rockdunder Road, sir, an extremely bad road, but we are sure that will be done as well as soon as the government finances can manage it. And I have full confidence that those houses of most vulnerable people and those who can't repair will also be done, sir, as we are pushing to have done, and that the Honourable Member for St. Michael's South, who graciously toured the fish market at Western with me about 5 months ago, I know him, sir, and I know he'll be true to his word that, again, when finances allow, that fish market will be refurbished as well, sir. But we thank God, sir, for small mercies. We've seen the start, and dozens of people who I've spoken to have said, you know, Minister, whatever to call me, Eddie, Edmund, you know, we are seeing where our taxpayers' dollars are going now with this refurbishment of road. After, as the Honourable Member for St. Lucie said during the estimates debate, we came and found 70% of the roads of Barbados in a state of disrepair. Sir, we in the Barbados Labour Party, this government of 10 months, have addressed the high and unsustainable debt to GDP ratio, as I've said, by embarking on a multi-pronged economic reform program, including fiscal consolidation, corrective economic measures, and debt restructuring, sir, to stabilize our public finances and to create the conditions of sustained economic growth. Because as the Honourable Prime Minister has said time and time again, sir, before you could talk about economic growth after 10 years of economic malaise under the previous government, you have to stabilize the patient, sir, like any good doctor would do. And that's what we've done, sir. So the domestic debt restructuring program resulted in government eliminating approximately $2.9 billion, sir, or 29% of the gross domestic product from the domestic portfolio held by public sector institutions, including the central bank and the national insurance scheme, of which the Honourable Member for St. Michael West Central just spoke. We cannot, though, sir, talk about stabilization and growth without dealing with people, sir. People have always been and will always be at the center of any policies of this political party, sir, whether in opposition or in government. And therefore, we have always sought and will continue to seek to protect the most vulnerable in this society from any harsh economic decisions that we have taken, sir, or need to take. We will ensure that they are cushioned against that effect because of their vulnerability, sir. And therefore, pensioners have been at the forefront of our thought and our actions, and we have mitigated the impact on pensioners by accelerating repayments to them. in terms of the government bonds or securities that they had, sir. I believe this month, the end of this month, next week, the pensioners will get another $30,000, having received $20,000 in December. We have sought, sir, to pay the reverse tax credit, sir, not like the previous government that came in here this time last year in the estimates, and to use Bajan parlance, sir, I'm sure you'll allow me, poo shark, try to fool the people that from September last year they would restore a reverse tax credit, sir, when they knew full well, sir, that they were not going to be around in September, sir. You don't even see them, sir, in the first place, as the honorable member for St. Thomas said. You don't even see them nowhere. So, sir, they weren't going to be here. They knew that. So they could have come and say anything about reverse tax credit restarted in September, sir. We've actually given it, restored it to the $1,300 a year, and now those who do not pay any income tax, and that's not only tremendous economic sense, but social justice, sir. Those who don't pay income tax, those working for less than $25,000 a year now will be eligible for the reverse tax credit, sir. And this means an additional 7,000 people, sir, will share a further $9 million annually on this particular initiative, sir. And then those who earn between $25,000, sir, just over $2,000 a month, in other words, and $35,000, just below $3,000 a month, will be eligible for compensatory income tax credit, sir, up to $1,250 a year. So, I mean, this is novel economic thinking by a leader, sir, who cares about people, sir, and supplemented by a parliamentary team and cabinet, sir, that understand the daily demands of living for the lowest income earners of this country, sir. And then, sir, the Honourable Prime Minister on Wednesday proposed, and this Parliament will absolutely no doubt agree to, a reduction in the income tax rate, sir, from 40% to 33.5% at the highest level, to be reduced further from January the 1st next year to 28.5%. And at the middle rate, sir, the first bar of taxation, between $25,000 and $75,000, a reduction in that rate, sir, as well, from 16.5% to 12.5%, sir. So more money in people's pockets, sir, because intelligent economics, unlike that practiced by the last Democratic Labour Party government, intelligent economics and intelligent economists, sir, tell you that when people have more money in the pockets, more money that they can spend, sir, on consumption, that an economy grows, money is circulated, sir, money is spent, and that is what is required by a government that understands its role in social engineering. So we have a growth strategy, sir, which is typified by people, by a decrease in income tax, and by payment, sir, of tax refunds, income tax, VAT, for last year being paid, sir, millions of dollars, when under the last government people scrunting owed income tax and VAT returns for 4 years, sir, and can't get them out of the government, sir. And then when you finally got them, in some cases 4 years after, they gave a little piece last year early again, sir, you don't get interest on them, sir. But that was the callousness, the incompetence, and the corruption of the Democratic Labour Party government for 10 years, 4 months, that the people of Barbados understood and spoke in real terms, because there's no way in CARICOM that any government has been given the mandate that the people of Barbados gave this party, sir. In terms of numbers of seats, there have been wholesale sweeps, sir, but never 30, never as many as 30, never as high as 75% of the vote, sir. And I mean, there have been parties, sir, that have won elections where the opposition didn't contest. You can't count that, sir. This was contested. They had about 6 parties, sir. And the massive victory, the massive endorsement, sir. But we have not come here to govern with arrogance, sir, or haughtiness, sir. We have kept the people informed at every stage of the game. We have involved them, sir. We've continued to rub shoulders, to engage the people in what we are doing, sir. And I look forward to this engagement being extended, this participatory democracy being extended, sir, in the next financial year, when, as we heard today, again, the Honourable Member for Christchurch South will lead basically a people's empowerment and participatory democracy at grassroots level, involving people in the communities in the decision making of this country, so that their involvement in the governance of this country will be enhanced. Sir, the Barbados dollar is no longer under threat with the coming into office of this government, sir. You know, sir, for years, people of Barbados and investors outside Barbados who recognize that Barbados is a beautiful country, sir, but unwilling to spend a dollar in Barbados because you don't know if the dollar can get the value. You don't know, even if you spend a dollar, if it can get teeth in some political person hand, carry away, whatever, sir. You know, dollar no longer under threat. Confidence in the investment portfolio of this country restored, sir. And we are ready now for growth and for transformation, having stabilized the economic fundamentals of this country, sir. We have, sir, we are looking to create new aspects of an economy, sir. We would have heard spelled out comprehensively by the Honourable Member for St. Michael North, the member who has charge of international business, sir, extremely competent individual who's made Barbados proud, brought 14 pieces of legislation in the space of a week, sir. But you have heard, sir, that even though we are doing our best, sir, to comply with all these regulations that the big countries, strong countries put on us, you're still getting, the fence still getting pushed back and the gold bar still going further away, sir. And this is not fair to us, sir, by countries who have economic strength, more economic strength than us. So therefore, sir, we are looking now at new enterprises and growth areas in our economy. And the Honourable Member for St. Michael South, sir, new member with tremendous leadership qualities, mandated to look at the feasibility through studies of creating some islands off Barbados, sir. We know the first and in fact only time, sir, this was done was under the initial Barbados Labour Party administration, sir, the Right Excellent Sir Grant Lee Adams, leading an enterprise, of course, to acquire lands not far from here, sir, and the building of a harbour which transformed Barbados, sir, opened up new avenues for Barbados, with a port, sir, and endless possibilities, sir, coming in. And the establishment of new islands, sir, if the studies come back the positive way, will mean growth, will mean jobs, will mean money, sir, socio-economic advancement for our people, development. More people will be attracted to Barbados as well, sir. We've heard, sir, the Honourable Prime Minister speak towards casino gambling, sir. And sir, as the Honourable Member for St. Michael North said about himself, sir, I'm not a hypocrite, sir. Anybody who knows me knows that, sir. I don't gamble, sir. That's not one of my vices. I don't. Believe I might only have gambled a piece, sir, a few dollars when I went to Monte Carlo a time with my family, sir. Because, I mean, you can't go to Monte Carlo and not try it out, sir. That's the truth. But I will be the first in here, sir. You will have to stand by me, sir, because I've traveled all over the world, sir. All over, and I've seen what casino gambling brings to countries, sir. We talk a lot about Singapore, sir. Lee Kuan Yew, the master leader of Singapore, was at one time very much against casino gambling. By the time I went to Singapore, sir, Lee Kuan Yew had said, well, he's not fooling himself. Singapore has to be the #1 country in the world in terms of competitiveness, in terms of ease of doing business. And by the time I went to Singapore, sir, 2 of the biggest casinos in the world were in Singapore, sir. It gives tourist visitors to Barbados another option in terms of the product that we offer. Brings foreign exchange, sir, creates jobs. The Honourable Prime Minister said that initially her concept is to limit it to non-Barbadians, sir. I believe eventually, sir, it will have to be Barbadians going as well. Subject, of course, to us protecting the most vulnerable in society, sir. But this is the way to go, sir, and it's no use playing that we almighty and we being, pewed and we not bringing in casino gambling, sir, when gambling is every day, every minute of the day and night in Barbados somewhere. So we have to be real. This government has to create new opportunities and avenues for the transformation of this country, which we are embarking on and are determined will be achieved. And so, sir, we will continue to keep people at the heart of our growth strategy, sir. And this means investing in public education and public health. So, sir, one of our first acts was to restore state-funded tuition fees at the tertiary level University of the West Indies for Barbadians, sir. And hundreds of Barbadians back into university, many of whom had to drop out of university between 2014 and 2017, sir, because of lack of funds, lack of ability to pay the $6,000, $7,000, $9,000, $10,000 a year that a government of the Democratic Labour Party, whose role, as was said in here earlier, was to keep poor people poor, sir, criminally imposed on the people of Barbados, sir. We have said that, and we have embarked, sir, to increase the skill set of the people of Barbados, to increase the vocational training aspect of the society of Barbados, to build the communities, sir, by the programs in the Ministry of Youth, whose minister, the Honourable Member for Christchurch East Central, sir, spoke with the passion.
West Central.
And
West
Central, sir, spoke with the passion and fervour of an experienced long-time parliamentarian in here last night, sir. That is what we're doing, sir, to connect now what we're doing with the people of Barbados and their socio-advancement, not only their economic advancement. And health, of course, sir, part of this, the health of the nation is the wealth of a nation. And therefore, sir, we put $10 million in the accident and emergency unit to buttress that aspect of delivery of health services. And the Honourable Member for the City of Bridgetown, sir, came in Parliament, same time as me, sir, and who I've known for a very long time. Tremendous leadership skills as well, looking now to bring in 2 polyclinics 24/7, sir. And that is what this government is about. But yet, sir, those who had no answer to the travails and tribulations of Barbadians for 10 years, 4 months, saying we don't have a growth strategy, sir. I don't know why they don't stay in the shell, sir, and try to understand how much they have moved away from their philosophical moorings of their founding fathers, sir. And that's why, sir, we brought in the trust loan, sir. Honourable Member for St. George South overseeing that, sir. Up to today, a constituent of mine goes to the trust loan and gets a loan, sir. So to enhance his business, sir. That is what we about, sir. Trying to help people. And then, sir, in December last year, or January this year, sir, within the context of the Financial Management and Audit Act, we bring in a policy of government procurement, as the Honourable Member for St. Thomas spoke about earlier today, where 5% of government services procurement goes to the communities in which the development or the services are being rendered, sir, with 1% going to people with disabilities, sir. I mean, we have to put the people with disabilities in a position where they have the capacity to access that concession, sir. But we will ensure that that is done, sir. And, I mean, even though, of course, I'm not minister over that, sir, you know that I will see that together with the Honourable Minister that is done and that they're in that position. So therefore, social justice, fairness, accountability, transparency have to be and are the hallmarks of this new government, sir. That, of course, coupled with integrity, sir, prime. And we've spoken about it many times, sir. We look forward to the Integrity in Public Life Bill coming back before this Parliament in the near future out of Select Committee, sir. Because all of these policies, sir, would come to not under, for example, a government like the one that had last time, sir. Because as the Honourable Member for St. Michael South Central explained very well this morning, sir, that bribery, corruption just takes the life out of a society and economy. In addition to obviously all the deficiencies and defects and lack of competence in the previous governments, that was tripled by corruption and bribery. And sir, therefore, the Honourable Attorney General brought legislation just a couple of weeks ago, the Proceeds and Instrumentalities Act, sir, whereby giving another legislative arm whereby this government can seek to recover now some of the ill-gotten gains, sir, obtained through unlawful conduct, as that act describes, by those who, according to the late Prime Minister under the VLP, had to share in the fatted calf, even when the calf was far from fatted anymore. Still starved, clean, and they're still digging out of it, sir. So up to yesterday, you discover that a man, sir, a pal of the former member who you, sir, Mr. Speaker, Honorable, took out in St. Michael Central, his buddy, sir, invoicing the Sanitation Service Authority for thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars, driving a car from the Sanitation Service Authority, and no trace of any contract whatsoever with the Sanitation Service Authority, and already being paid by another government agency, sir, and you don't even see anything that has been produced, sir. That's the kind of territory that we had to come in and bat on, sir. Within cricket parlance, an extremely difficult wicket to bat on, and we batting on it and doing the best that we can, sir. Just asking everybody to stay the course, sir. We will make 100 a double 100, sir, once we get things going, sir. My ministry, sir, is part of the process, significant process of the internal affairs of this country, and our mandate has to be to help ease doing business in this country. The processes at the Immigration Department, sir, too difficult, too cumbersome, and we had fallen to number 133 out of 180 countries in the world in May last year in terms of ease of doing business, difficulty of doing business, whether it's renewing driver's license, whether it's clearing goods through customs, whether it's in planning and development applications, whether it's paying taxes, sir, to whether it's applying for and obtaining a liquor and public entertainment license, whether it is paying a traffic fine of a couple $100, whether it's obtaining a police certificate of character or police accident reports, are too difficult. And we are reforming all of these and transforming them. And led by the Honorable Prime Minister of Barbados, we are moving to e-governments, and through the creation of a Ministry of Innovation, Science and Technology, whose minister came before this Parliament, said, well, a few weeks ago, first minister from the Senate, created history to have that privilege, sir, and that ministry at the center of driving this process, because it has to be a case where it becomes easier for those who live here and those who visit Barbados to do business and to relate to the public sector of this country. And, sir, in terms of disaster relief and management, sir, we actively taking the initiatives to deal with that, to ensure that we are as ready as can be for any possible hurricane, storm, God forbid, in Barbados. Unlike last year when we came in to office, in fact 3 days before the start of the hurricane season, and very little in place at ministerial level to deal with the issues. We brought up meetings up to yesterday, 2 days ago, had a meeting of the Emergency Management Committee, which is established under the laws of Barbados. Sir, whereas that meeting used to be held down in July when the hurricane season done start long time. So in terms of the post office, every department, sir, virtually every department under my ministry, all 9, in need of legislative and policy reform. So you have the government industrial schools operating under legislation that is almost 100 years old. we will soon, sir, be bringing to Cabinet juvenile justice bill, sir, to reform that. And you understand perfectly, sir, because you are a lawyer of renown in that area of law and in the criminal law. In terms of probation, sir, you would know again, sir, that we need to have another regime in terms of how we treat to probation offenders and to widen restorative justice and community service. And we're looking at that as well, sir, in terms of postal reform. So in an age now where writing letters and putting it in a post and putting a stamp on them, sir, is becoming much lesser and lesser every day, sir. Looking to reform postal services and look at financial services offered by postal services and expand that area of aspect of our government. In terms of the National Council of Substance Abuse, sir, we have to we formulated a national anti-drug policy program, sir, and we have to look at what aspects Cabinet would agree to within the context of finance, of establishing immediately, in the medium term and in the long term, because we have to address the issue of young children, sir, sometimes as young as 10 and 11, engaging in illegal substance abuse. We have to, sir, look at the fire department, sir, and of course one of the major issues here is the vulnerability of a fire station, which is just over a stone's throw from where we are, sir, being in a susceptible location if you have a disastrous event, sir. And we're looking actively at building a new fire station, sir, and that matter is before Cabinet at the present time. So I am proud, sir, to be Minister of Home Affairs and to be the one mandated to bring about legislative and policy reform within the internal affairs of our country. Because many ministries impact on the Ministry of Home Affairs, or the Ministry of Home Affairs impacts on many ministries, sir, and has a significant role to play in the day-to-day lives of the people of Barbados. Sir, Proverbs 29:7 says, "The righteous considers the cause of the poor, but the wicked have no concern for them." The difference between this government, sir, which puts the cause of people at the center, and the last one, which from their actions, quite frankly, disgraced the legacy of their founding fathers and show that they had no respect, sir, or care about the poor or people. The difference between the two, sir, is tremendous. We will continue to do good by the people of Barbados, to serve the people of this country, sir, whether it takes the last breath out of us or not. We have come here, sir, with one purpose: to improve the quality of life of the people of this country. That's why, sir, we started with a covenant of hope, first time in the history of Barbados, that any party, whether opposition or government, presented to the people a covenant of hope, setting out its basic philosophy, sir, philosophical moorings, which have not changed from the era of our founding fathers, the Right Excellent Sir Grantley and the others, who we will be celebrating, sir, on Sunday, Founders Day. We invite the whole of Barbados to come, sir, church service. And then we followed it, sir, with a manifesto building the best Barbados today, sir. setting out the social contract that we have with the people of Barbados, unlike the Democratic Labour Party that says that its manifesto is not a social contract, sir. And we have already fulfilled many of the pledges and promises made in this document, sir. And in this case, sir, I spoke about the 29 excellent speeches, the excellence of the 29 Barbados Labour Party members of Parliament, sir. But this time I have to include all 30, sir, because, as has been said previously, sir, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition, his signature in this document, sir, is the closest to that of the Honourable Prime Minister. So he subscribes to, sir, to the...
Honourable Member, I believe that you are au fait with the legal term non est factum.
That is true, sir.
It is not my deed. Gawley versus Lee 16. Remember that, right? 16.
True, sir. You're an erudite. You erudite in the law, sir. Yeah. You understand, sir? So all 30 of us, sir, subscribe to what we're doing to try to improve the quality of life of the people of this country, sir. So we will succeed. We got this, sir. We just need to stay the course, and we ask all Barbadians, sir, to stay the course with us. It needs patience, sir. We came in, as said, with the country down in the gutter, socially, economically, culturally, everywhere, sir. And it's going to take time, sir. It's not going to be transformed in the 10 months. We've started the process. We will continue the process, sir. We've stabilized the economy. We're embarking on growth. And we have started the process of transformation, sir. I'm obliged to you.